All right, welcome in. It is Wednesday. It's time for Total Bases. Another parlay winner for us last night. It's finally starting to build some momentum there. I finally won a game. Major League Baseball, the Cubbies get it done for me. Pete Crow Armstrong finally gets a hit. So things are turning around for some of us here. But we've got a full slate of games to talk about today. Bryan Leonard, things maybe might turn around for the Philadelphia Phillies. The Red Sox coaching angle came to an end last night, but not before they won 2 games. So if you played that sort of angle, you were profitable. You hit twice, once as a dog. Of course, the Red Sox eventually lose last night. But listen, sports betting, we'll take 2-1 any day of the week. That's 66.6 whatever percent. So Phillies fire their manager yesterday after the show, and they win their first game of the, I guess you'd say, the Don Mattingly era. So question to you, national TV tonight, Phillies Giants, do the Phillies keep it going and win again?
Well, keep in mind, because we'll go back to this, and if the Phillies do what they should do against the schedule they're playing, they should run off a really nice run, and everybody's going to say, hey, it's the Don Mattingly difference. No, it's not. It's because they're playing lesser teams now. The Phillies had one of the toughest schedules coming into the season, and now they've got a streak of a lot of lesser teams. And if you take it, and I've talked about the expected wins on the season, and yes, the Mets are the worst team in expected wins. They should be a lot higher, but the Phillies were third. So the Phillies haven't had a lot of luck, and now they're playing lesser teams. So, don't expect this to be a Mattingly juggernaut. Is he's already shown in his career that he is not a major league manager, and they wanted the manager of the Red Sox. He turned him down. So I'm not overly excited about the management change, but Philadelphia is a better team than what they had shown. Sanchez on the mound today, the lefty going against Webb. 2 guys who came into the season very high expectations, and really neither one of them have lived up to it so far. They haven't been bad, but they haven't been elite, in which a lot of people think they should be. I still think Sanchez is an elite pitcher. Webb, I didn't like some of the moves they made in the offseason. He's a ground ball pitcher, and I didn't like their defensive moves, second base, first base, that kind of thing. So that concerned me coming into the season. But if I'm playing this game, I'm laying it. The line currently out there is about the 140 to 145 range, total of 7. I like the Philly team better, although they are aging. The Giants, I'm not a big fan of this year. So if I can get a little bit lower, if I can get a 140 on Philadelphia, they may make my card because I think Sanchez, the lefty, is really going to dominate here. And I like the situation with their bullpen coming into this one. So leaning Philadelphia, may not get there, but if you are buying into the change of the manager, the Phillies would be your bet. But keep in mind, this is not a new manager coming in. This was the second guy in command on a team that lost all those games earlier. So I don't think it'll last. That streak will last as long as it would be if they brought in a different manager.
Tokyo, Brandon, I am a believer, not necessarily in Mattingly, but in the shakeup. And something Bryan said, the schedule is going to get easier. This is a very favorable stretch for the Phillies. The Phillies had played a bunch of games against the Braves, right? Like they like Bryan said, they were catching some of the best teams in baseball. So I think I will sort of play the Phillies fire the manager progression, but maybe not for the reason of they needed a managerial change. I don't think Thompson, like Bryan said, I don't think Thompson was really the problem, but it doesn't mean a shakeup won't do them some good. So I actually like the Phillies here as well. Phillies, Giants to you. How are you seeing this one?
I guess I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. And I'll tell you why. I like the Giants today, and I'll tell you what. Well, not enough to bet them, but, to give my betting advice on the game, if you're going to bet it, I would go with the Giants because I still don't like the Phillies bullpen. Yes, they did break out of their slump yesterday. And, Dave Koken was smiling down on us yesterday because he says when you change managers, a winning streak is right there. And he was right yesterday again, even though he's not with us anymore. So He was definitely smiling on the Phillies yesterday. Man, Webb's a good pitcher. Sanchez is a good pitcher too. You picked the best pitching matchup to start the show off with. Looking at stats against each other, though, I like Webb's numbers against the batters he's facing today better than I like Sanchez's, and I like the Giants bullpen better. So just for those two reasons, I would lean Giants. We'll see who's right tomorrow, though. It's 2-1.
I'm with Brian in the respect that, like, I'd love to see the Giants take a little bit of money here. I doubt it. I doubt it'll happen just because it's the Phillies. They're at home. That's sort of one thing. The Phillies are 10-19, even after the win yesterday. Still 10-19. Crazy to think that this was a team that I believe had a top 3 projected win total in the National League this year. But over the last, like, maybe 3 or 4 seasons, I don't know that there's a team in Major League Baseball that has a better win percentage on their home diamond than the Phillies. At least I don't have that information in front of me, but at least, like, going into last year, I think their win percentage at Citizens Bank Park was as high as anyone in the league. So, especially while they're playing at home, it would only be the Phillies for me. And Brian, I'm with you. I think if that price dips below -140, gets to like -135, it might not be there for that long, but if it does, I may have to jump in there. Yeah, someone in the chat's like, did you talk about the Dodgers yet? The show literally just started. So no.
I wrote him. I said it. We just started 2 minutes ago. He said, "Oh, my bad.
No,
that's cool."
You haven't missed anything yet. The only game we've covered so far was Giants Phillies, but let's go to that Dodgers game. It's a day game. Good one here. We get the Marlins, Sandy Alcantara, who's been the Marlins' best pitcher and is shown flashes, Tokyo Brandon, of the Sandy Alcantara that won the Cy Young back in 2022. I don't know if he's quite there yet, but a 3.05 ERA, a 1.11 whip, pitching deep into games suggests that he looks more like the 2022 version than the guy that has struggled with injury and had a very, some very inflated numbers over the last couple of years. It's Tyler Glass now for the Dodgers, who's been great. The Dodgers, however, haven't been great so far in this series. Lucky to win 2 nights ago, and then last night they get clipped. I will point out, however, that Shohei Ohtani over-outs bet cashed in the end. It wasn't necessarily easy, but it did get there. He did get his 6 innings. That's the kind of the angle that we all stressed yesterday. So Dodgers, back to you, TB. Hasn't been great so far, but do they take this series this afternoon?
Yeah, and by the way, I was on the Cubs with you yesterday. That was good. And I also did put 2% on the -180 Ohtani to finish 6 innings. Free money is free money, in my opinion, so I took it. And so, yeah, getting on to this one. If you check my Twitter X, Tokyo_Brandon, I put my pitcher matchup rankings out today, and Alcantara is towards the bottom of that. He actually struggles against these batters, so a little revenge factor there. Glass now has great numbers against Miami, and without overthinking it, the Dodgers are just a better team than Miami. So, but it's funny in baseball because teams that are a lot better than others, they struggle with certain teams. It happens in the KBO as well. A really good team will just, for some odd reason, struggle against another team. I mean, I think the Diamondbacks struggle with the Rockies. I mean, it's certain teams just have bad matchups with another team, despite the rankings and the talent difference. However, I don't think the Dodgers want to lose this series. I think they'll break out. You can only hold the Dodgers to 1 or 2 runs a couple games in a row. I don't think you can do it for 3 games in a row. So I think the Dodgers will break out here. Alcantara's numbers not really good against these batters, and Glasnow's numbers are really good against these batters. So I'll take the Dodgers here. But probably odds are bad. I don't mind a -1.5 in this either, or a -1. However you can play it. Glasnow to win. Take your pick.
Brian, I was on Sandy Alcantara in his most recent start. It was Friday night. He got the win against the Giants, but it's fair to say, like, he had a lot of run support in that game. That game was, over early. The Marlins, I think, got out to like an 8-0 lead. And it was a pretty stress-free 6 innings of work for Alcantara out in San Francisco. where he still gave up 9 hits. So, going to you on this, Dodgers, maybe they haven't hit up to potential the last week or two. It's still a strong lineup. Alcantara, he's pitching deeper in the games, but he pitches to contact. Like, that is his MO right now. He doesn't really strike guys out. He pitches to contact. 2 starts ago. So, well, I guess you would say 3 starts ago now. He gave up 10 hits to the Tigers. 10 hits to the Tigers, 9 hits to the Giants. He's getting deep into games, but is that going to come back to bite him here, or do you think the Marlins can hang around?
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out because I was going to do that. Alcantara started the season terrific. He was great in preseason, and he started the season well. But his last few starts had me slightly worried. If you go to Fangraphs, great website, pay the $20, whatever they charge for the year. It's well worth it. The roster resources, a page I always use. I've been following Mr. Martinez, who's done those for a decade, and he does a really nice job. But if you take a look at the starting rotation for Miami over the last 14 days, Sandy is 111th, and that is worse than Yuri Perez at 65, Max Meyer at 28, Jansen Junk 38, and Chris Paddock is 134. So he's closer to Chris Paddock in the last 2 weeks than he is the rest of the starters on this team. Yes, he started the season well. He has not pitched as well as of late. And if you take a look at the bullpen for Miami tonight, Tyler Phillips has pitched 3 of the last 4 games, and that one included a 46 throw. He threw 40 pitches on Saturday, 46 pitches on Saturday, so he won't be there. Calvin Faucher's pitched 2 out of the last 3. He may not be there. So you got all their guys. You go all the way down for the first 6 guys in their bullpen, and they've all pitched 2 out of the last 3 days. So I am worried as this game goes on when Alcantara loses his effectiveness, if he is effective early on, that he will struggle as the game goes on. And if you take a look at the Dodgers, and I agree, Brandon talked about how they have hit against Alcantara and how how Miami has hit against Glasnow. It's clear that the hitting advantage in this game is with the Dodgers. And yesterday, coming off of that poor performance, and they've got Glasnow, who is ranked number 2 starting pitcher the last 14 days in baseball, right behind the guy that pitched yesterday, Shohei Ohtani, number 1 the last 2 weeks. So you've got the pitcher that's pitching much better. And from a bullpen standpoint, Tanner Scott pitched the last 2 days. He won't pitch, but everybody else is available. So the bullpen for the Dodgers is going to be much better than the bullpen for Miami. You're getting the Dodgers off an embarrassing offensive performance at home, and you're getting them in what I consider, I don't play a lot of big favorites, but, yesterday we're looking at closer to the $3 favorites, and today we're looking at closer to a $2 favorite. I'm seeing as low as 214 out there, 214 to 220, basically. The Dodgers aren't a bad bet at 220. I wouldn't. If you don't have a problem playing larger favorites, this is the one time I think I would. And I also would agree on the -1.5 or one of the other ones, Glasnow to get the victory, things like that. The problem with that is Glasnow has had such a hard time staying healthy in his career. You don't know what's going to happen in the game. A line drive back at him, he throws a bad pitch, all of a sudden he's throwing a perfect game after 3 innings and he's out of the game. So that might be my only concern there. But if I'm playing, I'm laying in this one.
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, obviously, if you like the -1.5, you're going to like the Dodgers money line. There's depth. There's probably more value on the money line relative to like what I think most of us would make it. Though -1.5 at like close to even money is not bad either. It's just with the home team, you need a couple more things to go right to cash that. But still, it's not a bad look. And the final thing I'll point out is, Brian, you brought up the bullpen. 2 nights ago, the Marlins were playing from a position of strength, right? Like they were trying to hold off a win from the 5th inning on. I mean, they took a 4-2 lead in the 5th inning. And so the Marlins really have had, even though they lost that game on Tuesday, they still basically have used every leverage guy that they have because they were trying to hold on a win, didn't work out. Dodgers walk it off. And then yesterday they hold on to a 2-1 win that required the high leverage guys to pretty much work to close that out. The other thing is in the game on Tuesday, the Dodgers really didn't hit until later in the game. Like, they haven't hit yet this series. So if you believe that, okay, you've got 3 games, you've got one of the best offensive teams in baseball. At some point in a 3-game series, they're probably going to put up a crooked number. It feels like the Dodgers-Giants spot from last week, where the Dodgers had lost the first 2 against the Giants, looked awful in both of those, and come out and won the finale 3-0. Kind of what this feels like. So I'm on the Dodgers here as well. Yeah, someone I don't know if it was you, Roy, but in the chat that we pulled up on the show, but yes, there was a couple folks in the chat that did like the Marlins yesterday. So shout out to you guys, because that was a great call. Listen, it is a scrappy bunch for sure, but they just scrapped hard for 18 innings the last 2 nights. You gotta take that into consideration as well. All right, let's see. Let's go to Ethan here. This is an interesting question. He said the Padres without their manager just for tonight's game. Is that a play-on spot in your guys' opinion? Play-on, play against? My opinion, on a one-off for 1 game, it doesn't really matter. That would just be my opinion. But we'll go to Tokyo Brandon, and we'll get his opinion on Padres Cubs, and you can chime in on Ethan's question as well.
Yeah, I think the players on the field matter a little bit more than who's in the dugout, because they're the ones who are actually scoring the runs and preventing the runs. I don't think it matters at all, actually. Think you overthink it. Look for an edge a little too hard sometimes. I like, oh, by the way, everyone, we have a double play deal going on. So you can choose 2 of us for 3 days. It's a really good deal. Get that at WagerTalk.com. There's my plug. And regarding this game, I like to look at pitcher matchups a lot, and I like to look at teams who are in bad spots. Waldron has been horrible. I don't know what his problem is, but he's been absolutely awful. Teon's a guy who kind of inconsistent. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of love from the books. He gets slighted a lot. But again, if you look at my Twitter rankings that I got out, he's got a 673 OPS against these batters in his career, and that's a large sample size. I think I'll go back to Cubs on this one. I would think that would be the play to make, because look, the Cubs have the better hitting, they got the better bullpen, they got the better starter. I don't see what other way you could go, in my opinion. Haven't done it yet, but I'm seriously considering it.
Yeah, Brian, Matt Waldron's tough because he throws this knuckleball-ish type pitch where when it's on, it tends to be pretty good. When it's not, he'll get destroyed. I mean, straight up destroyed.
It's a wiffle ball.
And it tends not to work great in altitude, which is probably why he got blasted by the Rockies. Oh, but can't use that excuse for the start before, when he gave up 6 runs on 8 hits to the Angels in Anaheim. So Waldron, very hit or miss, but I do think you have to look and say, well, is this sort of the one where are you going to catch him when he's got his good stuff here? Because if that's the case, I'd like the Padres, knowing that they probably are going to come back with Morjan, Adam, Mason Miller, some combination of those guys who didn't pitch last night. But then at the same time, I like this Cubbies lineup. Pete Crow Armstrong was hitting balls on the nose 2 nights ago, and a couple were allowed outs. One I think he did get a hit off of. Last night he gets the big home run to break it open. He's hitting 9th for the Cubs right now, Brian. That lineup, if Shaw, Dansby, PCA are going to produce and they're hitting 7 through 9, it's a pretty scary Cubs team, if you ask me.
Yeah, the Cubs got a great lineup, 1 through 9, one of the best in Major League Baseball. Waldron's coming off an injury, and he's a knuckleball pitcher. And if you're coming off of injury, your last thing you get is your commanding and control, and he's already a knuckleball pitcher. So that's something that you're always concerned about. Anytime I am looking at a knuckleball pitcher, which isn't very often lately, back in the earlier days, they'd have 3 or 4 guys that in the league who would throw knuckleballs. Now he's basically the only one. I would prefer to wait until the game is being played and play live betting. That way, if he's putting it where he wants to put it. At halftime with knuckleball pitchers, I don't think they know where they want to put it. They just throw it and hope it lands in the strike zone. But I understand the situation. I like the bullpen, obviously, for the Padres here. But until I know that he's feeling it and he's on it, I don't want to bet on him. The Cubs lineup, as you said, is very good. But really not a game I'm totally interested in today. There's a lot of really nice games out there. We won again yesterday, and it's been a really terrific run here for quite a while for myself and my clients. So better games on the board, and there's the playoffs and the hockey and the NBA too. So a lot of things to bet on. We don't need to force anything if you don't need to.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that one. TV's nodding. We got our money back with the Cubs last night. Lost with them in the first game of the series. It feels like a very coin flip type game. Though I will be looking for spots to back the Cubs when I'm okay with what's going on at the end of the game. I have to say this, and again, you have to, when you win or lose, you should evaluate like the bet you made, if it was a good bet, whatever, so on and so forth. If Pete Crow Armstrong doesn't hit that 3-run home run, I was nervous at how the last couple innings of that game were going to go for the Cubs. Like, I think they needed that 5-run cushion to like not really get into it in the last couple innings. And that is going to be the concern with them. Their bullpen is in rough shape right now. So many injuries. So that's just something to, I guess.
It was actually a tougher win than the score indicated. Let's put it that way. If you had money on that game, you were nervous into the 5th inning.
For longer than that. You were nervous when it was only 4-3 and you had to figure out who was getting the last 9 outs.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Hobie Milner throwing to right-handed hitters is not like the dream scenario. Let's put it that way. But it worked out. Oh, we got to do. All right, we're going back to. Let's go back to Bryan here. Man, Tampa Bay Rays have suddenly caught fire. I remember the beginning of the year when I think you made the point like, hey, this team might actually be pretty good, and. On paper, I've said this a couple of different times. On paper, I don't think I've been impressed with the Rays at any point this season. Like, I think they're a good team. They've got a good collection of players, some arms in the bullpen, a couple decent starters. I thought they'd be a 500 team this year. Suddenly, they're 18-11, and they're 1 win away from going into Cleveland and getting a sweep. So, Guardians Rays to you, Bryan. It's Gavin Williams. It's Drew Rasmussen. Can the Guardians salvage one in this series this afternoon?
Yeah, I watched the game yesterday. Well-played game by Tampa Bay, and I think we're going to get another one here. We've got 2 guys. TB talked about great pitching matchups. These are 2 guys that are really good pitchers. Rasmussen is a guy I'm always looking to bet, and Williams seems to be continuing what he did last year, and he's looking really well. We've worried about Williams in the past for his walk rates, but he's been able to pitch around them. And there's certain pitchers in Major League Baseball that will do that. And the Dodgers have one of those guys that'll be coming back into their starting rotation in the next few weeks. But if you can walk guys that you want to walk as opposed to walking guys that you don't want to walk, it makes it much better that you can pitch around these kind of guys. And I think that's what Williams has been able to do. Chandler Simpson is a guy that leads off for Tampa Bay, and the guy could steal on anybody. If you walk him, you basically got a double or a triple, and you got him right before Caminero, Aranda, and Diaz, who are 3 of the really best hitters in Major League Baseball in bringing runners home. Yandy Diaz is another guy who every year everybody overlooks him because he plays first base and DHs, and he's not a true home run hitter. He only hits like 20 home runs. The guy's a great hitter. If you take a look at average exit velocity, he usually leads the league. He's one of those guys that everything he hits is hard. if he ever got to the point where he can lift it a little bit more, and he did that a couple of years ago, he would be considered one of the best 10 hitters in Major League Baseball. But I really like this Tampa Bay lineup, the front part of it especially. The back end, Cedric Mullins has done nothing offensively since they brought him over. Nick Fortes right now is the catcher, and Taylor Walls, they're not going to help you any. But the top 6 guys in the lineup can compete with just about anybody. And I like the bullpen for Tampa Bay, but Brian Baker, he didn't pitch yesterday, but he did pitch the 2 games before that. And Seymour pitched the last 2 days. But other than that, everybody should be available. We've got some guys, Hunter Biggie, who I really like. He hasn't pitched in 3 days, so their bullpen is pretty set up here. And Cleveland is a similar situation. I'm not a big fan of the Cleveland offense at all. The last guy's on the bottom of the bench, Brian Rocchio. Yes, he's been hitting clutch, but clutch is luck. Basically, he's in a bit of luck. He leads the team in RBIs, by the way, I believe, and he's hitting number 9. Bo Naylor's terrible. I don't know. If they had anybody else that could hit from a catcher viewpoint, he wouldn't even be in the majors. Bringing up Travis Bazzano yesterday, even though he didn't do anything great, I like the way he approached. He got 2 walks yesterday, and that's a guy that they need to be able to stretch this lineup up a little bit. Getting him out in the lineup and forcing the pitchers to throw some extra pitches are exactly what this Cleveland team needs. From a bullpen perspective, Cade Smith hasn't pitched in 4 days. Hunter Gaddis has pitched in 1 of the 4. Same with Sobrowski. So I like both bullpens. I like both starters. It's not often I'm going to go under a 6.5, but that's the way I would look at this. I like the way both these managers play their games. They're not going to try to beat you with a 3-run homer. They're going to play base to base. And as long as Cleveland can keep the Simpson off the base, he's really the key guy in this lineup that you got to keep off base. Let the 3, 4, and 5 guys hit solo home runs. You don't want him on the base, and it affects the pitchers so much when you get a speed guy like him on there. So let's go with the lean here to the under. Don't know if it'll make my card today. If we ever see a 7 again, I'll be on it. But at 6.5, it's kind of tough because the game goes 3-3, you lost, and that's something we look at in hockey all the time. So 6.5 is a tough game to go under.
I will point out that when the 3 of us loved under in this game 2 days ago, it was an easy winner. So we weren't the kiss of death on Tuesday. The 3 of us all liked the under 7.5. It won easily 3-2 last night. Another easy under 1-0. So Tokyo Brandon, how are you seeing this one? Hasn't been many runs in this series to this point.
Yeah, if you take a look at my Twitter X, I'm the little puppet in the Saw movie today, by the way. It's kind of funny. But anyway, I rank my pitchers from 1 to 20, and number 1 is no other than Rasmussen, and number 20 is no other than Mr. Gavin. So no other way I could go. I haven't liked Tampa's bullpen lately, and I have liked the Guardians. So that is a little bit of a concern, but I can't argue with an under in this one. If Williams can hold the Rays lineup down, the Rays lineup has been kind of hot lately. So if he can hold them down, the under should get there. But I'd prefer a Guardians under rather than a full game under, because I think Rasmussen has great numbers against these guys. And the Guardians haven't really been hitting that well lately. So got them ranked 21. I got the Rays ranked 11 in hitting. So I'd probably go with a team total under for the Guardians, perhaps. Haven't done it yet.
I don't know if the Rays have necessarily just been like knocking the cover off the ball, but they certainly have gotten a timely hit. Like all weekend against the Twins, they were able to cash in on opportunities and tack on. The last 2 nights, they haven't necessarily hit. They scored 1 yesterday, 3 the night before, but they've gotten the hit when it matters. I'll throw a prop out for this one. So far on the season, Gavin Williams has gone over his strikeouts 4 of the 6 times. I think that is the rate that he is going to hit his strikeout prop this year. I think he's going to hit his strikeouts over probably like close to 70% of the time, 66, 67, 68% of the time. The reason is he's effectively wild. right? Like, so we get on Gavin Williams for the walks, but if you look at his Savant page, he is bottom 20 or bottom 20% in the league in walk rate. He also gives up a hard hit, like more than you would expect a guy that of his caliber to. So what that means is he's either walking guys. The hard hits are probably becoming hits, right? Like if you're giving up like a screamer at like 98 off the bat, it's a good chance it's a hit. A lot of his other outs are strikeouts. So if you take out his last start where he wasn't that good and he gave up 6 runs, he wasn't that good. He didn't hit his strikeouts over. All of his other starts, for the most part, he's gone over the strikeout totals because he'll put guys on, but the outs he's getting, he's generating a ton of swing and miss because he's so effectively wild. I think that's the term that I'm willing to sort of stamp on him, effectively wild. 11 strikeouts against the Orioles, 8 against the Royals, 10 against the Dodgers, 7 against the Mariners. So I think you can just play his strikeouts over. It's probably going to hit 2 out of every 3 games, and it didn't hit last game. So I feel like it's a good spot to do. Just a different way to look at that one. But he is way up there in the swing and miss, and extension is a metric that Brian likes to throw around often. He's in like the top 5% of pitchers in the league in that metric. All right, let's go. TV, I'm going to bring you back in here. We have yet to lock in a parlay leg, but that is certainly what the people are waiting for because we've been hitting the parlays the last couple of days. So I'll go to you. Do you have an idea of where you want to go for the parlay today?
Yeah, I'm going to cheat. Give me the Dodgers on the money line. I'll cheat.
This is a scenario Brian? Where I actually love it. I actually love that.
I was going to step out and finally give a favorite, but
sorry.
Yeah.
I can do something.
I don't want
to. Okay, sorry.
Brian, what do we have for a price on that? What can I give out for a price on that?
Well, I'm seeing as low as 216 out there, but most of them are about 220.
Here's the thing, like this is different than like using the $3 favorite earlier in the week, and the reason is, and Brian will agree with this. This is a game that I think we would all actually consider playing just straight, like making a straight bet on the Dodgers. And Brian, I know that's sort of like your thing. It's like, if I wouldn't make a straight bet on it, I don't want to put it in the parlay. This is a scenario where I think like all 3 of us are like, yeah, you could make a bet on the Dodgers straight, just scale it a little bit. So with that being said, what game are you now willing to put in the parlay that TV stole your parlay leg?
I wasn't expecting him to steal my parlay leg.
But if Adam had asked you first.
There you go. I know.
Well, if you need a minute, I can go to one more chat game. We're going to have time to do another game.
Do that.
All right, let's go to one more in the chat, and then we'll give Brian a second to lock in. I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do. Oh, this is a good. Oh, we got to talk about this one. I don't know how I missed this. This is Tariq Skubal up against J.R. Ritchie today, who had a very solid debut after giving up. So he gives up a leadoff homer, first hitter of the game. Actually, kind of like to say, his dad's in tears, like watching his son make his major league debut. They've got him on camera. They're talking to him, and James Wood puts one into orbit off of him. I'm like, that is awful. But Ritchie, like, he battled back. He was excellent. We talked about it on this show. I think I gave him out in that game. It was a free play for the show. The Braves won his debut 7-2. Bryan Leonard, 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 7 strikeouts. He's an old school type pitcher. You don't see many of these young kids come up that like, you're like, man, he really knows how to pitch. I watched him a ton in the minors. He really like knows how to pitch. I'm very excited about him. And he's up against one of the best today. So Braves, Tigers to you, Ritchie and Tariq Skubal.
Yeah, Skubal the lefty going for Detroit. The line's about a 140, from 140 to 150 out there on Detroit right now, a total of 8. I will say I don't want any part of Detroit. And the reason being is no way they should be a road favorite. I don't care who their starting pitcher is. And yes, he is the best pitcher in baseball. But to make him a road favorite in this price range at Atlanta, I just don't see it. Yeah, he's been great. His last 14 days, he's rated as a starting pitcher at 52. Framber Valdez is 57. Casey Mize, till he got hurt yesterday, was 16. Would you play Framber Valdez or Casey Mize in this near this price range? I wouldn't. So I can't play it with Skubal. Yes, the bullpen is in really good shape for Detroit here. Kenley Jansen hasn't pitched the last 4 days. Finnegan the last 2. Vest the last 2. But I've watched a lot of Skubal's starts all the time because you learn so much because he's so great. I don't think he's as good a pitcher this year as he has been the last couple of years. Maybe it's a small sample size. That's probably what it is. But you're going up against this Atlanta team who is just knocking the cover off of the ball right now. And you've got, I talked about the hitters on this team going from the top 5 guys in the lineup. And once again, this is on FanGraphs on Roster Resource. Top 5 guys in the lineup the last 7 days. Ronald Acuna Jr., 51st in hitting. Drake Baldwin, 100th. Matt Olson, 4th. Ozzie Albies, 2nd. Michael Harris, 3rd. The back of the lineup has slumped a little bit. But to get those guys in the first inning or so, maybe a Yurfee. Yes, there will be a score in the first inning. But I actually like the bullpen for Atlanta, too. Flores has not pitched in the last 2 days. Tyler Kinley had 2 days off before he pitched yesterday. So they're all set here. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game, obviously. But I think Atlanta gets up early and gets the victory. And you're getting them at a really impressive price here. This was a game, was my second anyway. So it was the game I was hoping we would cover. But you're catching the Braves right now in the 125 to 130 range as a home dog, the way they're playing. I've got to be on Atlanta here. So that's what I'm going to use in my parlay. And I did like the Dodgers just as well, maybe a little bit more. So, hey, if you like the Dodgers and you like Atlanta, I'm behind you on both of those.
Brian, what do you want to use for a number for the Braves? You want to go Braves money line here?
Let's go the Braves money line at plus 127.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I've said this, and I'll go to Tokyo Brandon. The Braves. I mean, listen. I think we all have the Dodgers as the best team in baseball until that they would really have to do some bad to get me to pull them out of that top spot. Even when they lose, it's like, well, they're just waiting for the playoffs. Like if the Dodgers are still the best team, but man, the Braves are really making a case to be like 1A, 1B with them so far. And I've been more impressed with the way the Braves play on a daily basis. It has been more impressive than the Dodgers to this point because it's like almost like they feel like they need to go out and play their best game. They know they're still, playing without a couple of their better players. So, yeah, I'm with Brian. I like the Braves as an underdog here. Talk to me about this game if you have an opinion, and also if you have anything with the pitcher Skubal on the mound for Detroit.
Yeah, again, get a double play. You can get 2 of us. We're 3 of the best baseball handicappers on the face of the earth. You can get 2 of us for 3 days. It's a huge, huge discounted deal. Go to wagertalk.com and grab that. So Brian's on a torrid run right now as well, and Adam's doing quite well. I'm plus 20 units in baseball as well. So we're all doing pretty good. So you can't go wrong with any 2 of us at the moment. So I completely agree with Brian. As a matter of fact, I'll take it even further. On my Twitter, again, the pitcher rankings, Skubal is 3rd from the bottom. He actually has an 888 OPS against these batters. Atlanta is quietly the 2nd best team in all of Major League Baseball, in my opinion, behind the Dodgers. Just tearing the cover off the ball, and their bullpen is coming together. Can you trust their starter, Richie? I'm not sure, but he certainly looked good before. And I think if they can keep it like a 0-0 or a 1-0 game after the 5th inning, I like the Braves. And I think they can score 2 runs on Skubal here. So I'll take it even further. Braves plus 1.5 is only minus 130. I think that's crazy. Crazy. Braves are the second best team in all of Major League Baseball, in my opinion. So, yeah, I agree with you guys.
Yeah, I if that plus 1.5 continues to come into range, like they're theoretically, like the Tigers and Scooble probably continue to take money. Like that's usually how it goes when Scooble steps on the mound for the Tigers. If they continue to bet Tigers and suddenly we can get that Braves plus 1.5, minus 125, minus 130, that's very appealing. Now, I see Sean in the chat like throws a stat out there, like the record of rookie pitchers. I'm going to explain why that's sort of irrelevant here, okay? Because over the course of 162 games, so many of those starts by rookie pitchers are like out of necessity, let's try this out type starts, right? Like go to the end of any season, go to August and September. A lot of times it's just, hey, like we had an awful season, right? We just sold off half of our team. We now need to see, we got to figure out what we're working with here. And oftentimes, like a guy will end up in the big leagues that maybe doesn't belong there. Maybe like, it's just like, hey, let's see what happens. Typically that is going to inflate those numbers in the wrong direction. J.R. Ritchie is not one of those guys. He spent a whole year at AAA being one of the better pitchers in AAA. He's now here because he belongs in the league. So you can't look at this and be like, oh, well, it's rookie starter. Yes, he is a rookie starter, but he is not the normal guy that just got called up making a big league start. And I think that should be, pointed out. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. If you followed the Braves in the preseason, they were talking about Fuentes and Ritchie making starting lineup. They didn't know if they would get them out of spring training, but they were two guys they were really going to be focused on because Atlanta's known a lot of these injuries before the season started. So yes, if Atlanta had gone through their normal 5 guys the entire season, which never happens, you usually use about 10 different starting pitchers. I understand bringing guys up for people that are hurt. That's why Martin Perez is up pitching for the Braves, that kind of thing. But these are two guys that coming into the season, they had high hopes for. So it's not one of those guys that we got to bring this guy up because this guy got hurt. It's because they wanted him to pitch.
Yeah, and it's also not his debut. That I see that in the chat. He pitched last week. He threw 7 innings and a gem against the Nats. So it's not his debut either. But I'm just saying the point is that is always going to be skewed. No matter what, the rookie pitcher stat is always going to be skewed poorly because so many of these rookie pitchers are guys that don't stick around in the big leagues. They're AAA guys that like get their opportunity, but they aren't big leaguers. So you can't look at J.R. Ritchie's a big leaguer. He's going to be in the starting rotation for the Braves or someone for a very long time. So that's I think is like I just think that's a point that needed to be made there. All right, let's get one more game in because I kind of know, I think we've already talked about my parlay league. So the folks in the chat want Brewers D-back. So I'm going to you, Tokyo Brandon. We can go quicker on this one. Brewers Diamondbacks. Do you see anything for the people in this game?
Yeah. This is going to be a good one as well. Let's see. We got Rodriguez and Sproat. Sproat's numbers not very good. Not looking real good. And Diamondbacks underdog here. I don't really understand why. Rodriguez has pretty good numbers against these batters if you take a look at my pitcher rankings, but the books have bias against certain pitchers. They don't like Erod at all. And I think at least today, it looks to me like they're liking Scooble a little too much. So the books have bias as well. Anytime you see Wheeler, you're going to see crazy numbers. Anytime you see certain guys, they're just going to get crazy numbers. And Erod's a guy that the books don't like. And you can kind of sometimes take advantage of that. Taking a look at my rankings, the Diamondbacks bullpen is starting to come around a little bit. I trashed them like crazy at the beginning of the season, but got them ranked 13 right now. And I got Milwaukee ranked 12. A slight Arizona pitching advantage, but a big Arizona hitting advantage because I got them hitting number 2 in Major League Baseball, where I got Milwaukee hitting 20. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll play it or not, but looks like the right side to me.
Brian, anything for you, D-backs, Brewers?
Yeah, if I'm playing, I'm probably taking the under. The both bullpens come into this game in really good shape. Erod's pitched much better than he had earlier, and I think maybe he's just not as he's been hurt the last few years. And pitching in the tournament before the season, he was great. He's carried it on. He's pitched much better than I thought he would. Sprout is coming off of a really good start, probably his best start of his career, if I remember correctly. So you are banging a little bit high in that regard, but yeah, neither team is really hitting that well right now. Especially your key guys at the top of the order, the guys that hit for power, get on base have not been. So I'm kind of looking at the under here, under 8.5. You're getting it at -110, -115, something like that.
The Sprout start was 2 starts ago, I remember, because I had him in that. It was the best bet winner for me, 6 2/3 of 1-run ball against the Blue Jays, 6 strikeouts. However, he was decent last time out too. 5 1/3, 3 runs on 4 hits against the Tigers. It was a game that I don't think he factored into the decision in that game, but 2 pretty good outings. I'm pretty high on Sprout. I thought the Brewers kind of like, you know, it was definitely I thought it was a good trade. Like what they got from the Mets. I think they got Williams and Sprout in a deal from the Mets. Like I always sort of liked him coming up through the Mets organization. He didn't throw the ball well his first start of the year, but he's, first 2 starts of the year were bad for him, but he's sort of like been progressively better the last 3 times out. We talked about the Jays start was really good. And then he held his own against the Tigers last time out. So I have a little bit of a soft spot for him. I don't know if it's because I saw him pitch in person a bunch in Syracuse, but I think the Brewers, and knowing what the Brewers do with pitching, are going to make something out of him. So I keep looking for spots to play him. I think it would be Brewers or pass for me here. I'm going to go with our guy, Dave Koken, and ride the Phillies in the parlay. Ride them until they lose one. I think they might. I think it's the perfect storm of firing their manager. And like Brian said, the schedule is starting to ease up. What can I get on the Phillies money line here, Brian?
I'm seeing anywhere from 140 to 150. I would say 143 maybe is.
Yeah, I pulled it up in our system quick. I saw -145, so I'll go with -145. So that means our three-teamer today, we're going 3 sides again. It worked for us yesterday. We hit it, so let's hit another one today. Tokyo Brandon's going Dodgers -220. Bryan Leonard's going Braves +127. And then I'm going to go Phillies -145. So Dodgers, Braves, Phillies, that's your 3-teamer today. The 3 of us all have plays up on the WagerTalk site. You can get any 2 of us at a discounted rate on the double play special. And the 3 of us will also be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, for another episode of Total Bases. We'll see you guys then. Have a great day, everyone.